Hey everyone, so we're back with some more RTA, start of the week, and I got 5 matches for you here today. So yeah, let's just get into the video. I do want to let you know that I retooled Zoltan. I haven't been using him a whole lot, but I rebuilt him and now he's kind of a menace. But I think I only use him once in one of these matches, but I was very impressed with his build. So anyway, like I said, yeah, let's get into the matches. Alright, so our first match here, cues really quickly. We got our mystery opponent. I've stopped doing the Evelyn profile picture and the banner. I just said whatever. You know, if people know who I am, they know who I am. So here, I've started doing something a little different. I've started first picking Alicia. My Alicia is, I think, one of my strongest heroes. I have some of the best gear on her, and I just don't pick her enough. I like the first pick Ashlyn, but the problem is if they have an Alicia, I'm in a tough spot. So even if I pick Alicia, it's a great pick against someone who wants to first pick Ashlyn. But yeah, I've started to do that. So anyway, he goes Halia, Divine Yolanda, and SSA, and then I go Ashlyn and Ralph. You know, as I mentioned in my last RTA video, Ralph has just become, you know, one of those OP units that... you know, he's way too strong, but there's a lot of way too strong characters in the game. So I have one of them, and I'm just going to abuse them because there's no rules at the top end of RTA. So anyway, I picked Zoltan here, which is, you know, a re-geared Zoltan. A couple people know how I have him geared, but it's a secret for most people. And then I pick Levi, so I just have a lot of threats here. You know, if he doesn't ban Zoltan, I've got the Ralph to mitigate all of the damage on my damage dealers, and then if he bans Ralph, then he's got 3 threats that he has to worry about, and then that just makes Zoltan stronger. So anyway, here he last picks Urian, which is a pretty smart move because I want to ban the Divine Yolanda, but I'm forced to pick the Halia so he doesn't jump into Urian and kill my team. Now, even though it's an A0 Urian, if he's fully booked, it still might be able to do enough damage if he bans Ralph, which is exactly what he did. So from here, he's deciding what to do with the Divine Yolanda. Whether he gives people protection or if he tries to one-shot somebody. So he ends up trying to one-shot the Alicia, actually, and it just doesn't do enough. I don't know how that's calculated with Divine Yolanda, but thankfully she survived, which allows me to kill the Urian, take out that threat, and then stun the Jabez. So now I'm just focusing down the Divine Yolanda. With Levi, I end up getting True Strike and a double proc with the ultimate, so that was, you know, extremely lucky. And on top of that, he ends up proccing again, but he decides to kill the Alicia with the SSA, but that makes my Zoltan stronger. Here I switch into Ashlyn while the Jabez is stunned. Here, I activate SSA by reducing the accuracy, but then Levi procs. Ashlyn did get the second turn, so even if Levi didn't proc there, I think I was still in a pretty good spot. But yeah, Levi was just doing work that game, so on to the next match. Okay, so match number 2. I did queue pretty quickly, so I didn't know if it was the same person or not, but I do know Zakiro has an A2 Valeria, so... that's a safe ban for me anyway. Here he ends up banning Ralph, so I'm thinking it is Zakiro. So he first picks Ashlyn, and this is what I was saying with the Alicia, is even if I first pick Alicia and then they have a chance to pick Ashlyn, I already have the perfect counter, which puts them in a tough spot with needing to ban the Alicia. So then all of my other threats can possibly get through because they're somewhat forced to ban that Alicia. But anyway, that's kind of just my theory on why I've been first picking Alicia. But I end up going Halia. He goes SSA, and then he goes into Jabez again. So Jabez is a nice pick, counter pick against Halia, as well as being a nice pick for him because it takes away the counter to SSA, although I don't even know if Jabez is a counter to SSA anymore. I've kind of stopped picking Jabez. He just isn't strong enough. But here I go Nero, and then Hakrin. I've also re-geared Nero as well to make him more of a threat. And then here I'm debating on picking Zoltan or going with Kasim. I'm also debating Bocce as well, and in the thought that I'd be banning the Mathasia, because I have a feeling because he picked Mathasia, he's going to ban Alicia. So here I need to ban Mathasia because if I don't, my team won't have enough firepower to kill her. I don't have enough precision on my Nero for him to be a threat to the myth. So here, thankfully I was able to outspeed the Divine Yolanda, probably because of the Nero. And this is just an example of why Jabez just isn't a threat that much anymore. He tickled Nero. Now I know I have Hakrin in there, but still, it's just one of those things. So here I put him in a little bit of a tough spot with Kasim because I know he wants to stun the Nero, but that's going to activate Kasim to go after that Divine Yolanda and take away the Invincible. But here I just do the same thing with SSA because I think he's a bigger threat. So now I can speed up my team and take away that invincibility from Divine Yolanda. But because she's kind of busted, her cooldown allows her to just use it again. But anyway, here I'm in a pretty good spot. He already used the ult on the Ashlyn. And he's still 2 turns away from being able to give her back some health. So here, because of that, I'm able to have enough firepower to take her out with the Kasim and the Hakrin. So I get rid of the Invincible, and then I finish her off with Kasim, and then here, it's smooth sailing to take out this Divine Yolanda with the rest of my team. So, yep, that was match 2. On to the next one. All right, so we got a new avatar here, so that means fresh new meat. I say that with all humility. I do. I know I've been playing pretty well here, but there are tons of people better than me. But anyway, as we progress here, I do first pick Ashlyn and then Alicia right after because both of them are pretty solid picks against Afro, actually. Here he goes with Royce. Now, Royce is actually not a good pick against Ashlyn because it can just proc a bunch of extra turns. So unless he's planning on, I guess, banning Ashlyn, then it might be a thing. But I pick Ralph here to be another, threat that he is somewhat forced to ban. But I also pick Halia as well because Halia giving Alicia 2 turns is a really strong play. I've been really liking that as another pick, as well as giving me the initiative with speed. But here he goes SSA and then Corrupt Aurak, which I really dislike. So I last picked Zoltan. And here I think I'm debating on banning either the Afro or the Aurak, and I think I end up going Aurak just because of the RNG. And he ends up banning Zoltan. So from here, let's see how this match plays out. So just like I was talking in the draft, I just give Alicia that extra turn. And here, because she doesn't activate any kind of crit damage, Afro can't counter. But as you see, if my attack is high enough, I can actually one-shot an Afro. Now, I'm sure there's some Afroines out there that I can't that I can't one-shot. But my Alicia is definitely fast enough where if Halia survives the draft and I'm able to jump into Alicia, the 2 turns that Alicia takes is definitely going to be enough to take out most Afros, I would think. So here he ends up silencing the Ralph, I guess because he doesn't want me to taunt everybody, which is kind of interesting because Royce has that ability to remove, a control effect, which you'll see here. I think, oh no, I attacked the Royce, so he wouldn't remove that. So here he has a big nuke with Nero, but because of the defense down from the Alicia, as well as the damage mitigation from Ralph, I was able to survive it fairly handily. I heal back up with Ashlyn, and now I'm just kind of focusing on this Nero. This is another thing that Royce kind of struggles with, is anytime he activates that defense up from his passive, Alicia counter attacks against him. So he's kind of in a not so great spot in this matchup. So here, I'm just trying to focus down the Nero. Royce removed the charm that was put on by the Alicia. And here I think he's just debating on what to do, if he's going to take out the Ralph or not. So that Royce hit pretty hard with the True Strike. That was like 14k. It's pretty impressive. So he ends up getting the stun on the Ashlyn. The Ralph there is, again, continuing to save me. So here I'm just focusing down the Nero. I probably didn't need to use the ult of Alicia here. That was pretty stupid of me. But anyway, Royce activates again, and Alicia just finishes him off. And here, as long as I can keep Ashlyn or Alicia alive, this SSA is kind of in a rough spot. SSA actually is a nice kind of counter to Ralph, because he ignores his shield. But here, I mean, even though he kills the Alicia just because Ashlyn is 1 turn away from her magic sparks, I end up being able to switch into the light mode and just nuke him down. So this was actually close. SSA, this is a really well-built SSA, and it was really close to beating me there. But I think Ralph just had enough damage mitigation to help me get through. So on to the next one. All right, so next match here, we're back to the old Evelyn icon. So we don't know who we're facing. Keep going with that Doomweaver Valeria pick, though. She's just really good against, my tank kind of compositions. So she's always the smartest ban for me. But I see an Afro ban, so this is interesting. I'm not quite sure who I'm playing because I haven't seen that pre-ban before. So here's the first pick, Ashlyn. The first pick, Alicia, for me is really nice. And then I just go into, Halia here. Because jumping into Alicia to do two straight attacks is pretty rough for any kind of team. So here he goes, Nero and Hakron. I was like, all right, I like this guy's style. A little tank composition. I picked Ralph just in case he has him. I didn't want to go through Ralph, Hakron, Nero, and Ashlyn. That's a pretty deadly combo. And then I picked Zoltan. Considering, I've got some pretty good threats in Alicia, and I want him, if he ends up banning Ralph, I have Zoltan that is a pretty nice threat if he ends up needing to kill the Alicia. So here, I was definitely going to pick Kasim, but then he picked Rosalie, and I didn't really notice this before, but Rosalie is kind of a nice counter to just my play style, so that's a bit of a bummer. But I was debating on going to a couple different people, but I ended up going with Bocce just as another threat if he doesn't end up banning Zoltan. And if he's left unchecked, he can, spiral out of control and definitely kill everyone in his team. So anyway, I'm playing against Zatlux, which is one of the top RTA players out there, and I haven't faced him much, but he ended up banning, who did he ban? Halia. So here, I make a mistake. I end up attacking Rosalie. I don't know why I did that. She's pretty tanky, and she's got the 3 block up on herself, as well as doing splash damage, so that was like a really dumb play by me. I probably should have attacked like the Hakrin or something, or maybe the Nero, but this is actually somewhat working out for my strategy, because he needs to get rid of the Bocce, he needs to get rid of the Alicia, and all that's doing is making my Zoltan, it's going to make my Zoltan a threat. So here I go with the AoE taunt. He ends up killing the Ralph, putting him in his barrel state. And here I'm debating on using my ultimate or not, or if I just put up a bigger shield, and that's all I do. I just give Zoltan a little bit of tankiness, because I'm thinking that's who he's going to leave alive. So he ends up killing the Alicia and Bocce, so now I have 2 stacks of that defense pierce on my Zoltan, and he's kind of in trouble here. I want to end up killing this Rosalie, because she can give herself invincible. But now, we're kind of at the point where, with Ralph dead, my Zoltan just counterattacks. He's got this huge shield up, and it's just counterattacks everywhere. And once it gets to this point, anytime you're attacking him, he's just doing so much damage because of the defense pierce. Like right there, 17,000, and he's still got plenty of health left. Puts up the big shield here, and 14,000 true strikes. So that's my new and improved Zoltan. Next match. All right, so last match of today's video. Going up against Evelyn again. I'm assuming it is Zatlux again, just because of how quickly we paired. And I see the Zoltan ban, so I'm guessing it's him. Because, yeah, whenever you lose to Zoltan that way, you end up respecting the Zoltan. So here, instead of picking Halia, because I know he has a strong Nero, I counterpick the Nero, so he can't use him. So now he's thinking a little bit. Again, I don't know if he has Ralph or anything like that, but he puts up Hector, and I was like, okay, things are about to get interesting if he's going Hector. But he then picks Hakrin. I'm guessing he knows that I have Hakrin as well, so now it's kind of like a counter-picking game. So he's got the Ashlyn, he's got the Hakrin, but I have a pretty nice counter to the Ashlyn in my Alicia. So I'm just figuring out who he's going to pick here. So then he goes up picking Jonathan. I go Ralph because, again, I don't know if he has Ralph or not. And here I get to pick Kasim because Kasim is good against Ashlyn, good against Hakrin, and Jonathan. So this is a really nice match for Kasim, and Kasim is decent against Holy Armor Virgil as well. So I have full intention to ban the Rosalie here, and then see what takes place here. I'm assuming that he's going to ban the Ralph or the Holly again. So let's see what he ends up doing. But yeah, the Rosalie actually is a lot faster than I would have expected. But oh, he ends up banning the Nero. Yeah, so here, it's kind of just trying to utilize my Alicia as best I can, to take out the Ashlyn first, and then try and take down the Jonathan, and then hopefully have my Alicia or Kasim focus down the Holy Armor Virgil. But leaving Ralph on the field and not banning Ralph it's pretty risky. He might have had to do that. I don't know, because my Nero is pretty strong. Nero's just a threat, but yeah, leaving the Ralph there is, I don't know. Anytime I've gone up against Ralph, I've just always banned him or picked him before someone else can pick him. Here, because they didn't have any buffs on them, Ralph actually gets a 2-turn taunt, which is really nice. But because Holy Armor Virgil has that trait where he removes negative effects or whatever, the speed buff from Halia took that off. So here, I think he's just debating on whether to go after the Ralph or the Alicia. He ends up going after the Alicia because I'm going to be focusing down this Jonathan. So I just keep giving bonus turns to Alicia because on Alicia's basic ability, she heals the person with the lowest HP. So she heals herself back up. She's a great unit. I can't believe that I kind of neglected her for as long as I did, but I have been liking my new strategy a little bit. So here, I'm just trying to focus down the Hakron now and leave, all hands on deck to take out the Holy Armor Virgil. And I think it actually gets to a point where I think he throws in the towel here once I try and give the extra attack to Alicia. I think he just sees the writing on the wall. So anyway, good games to everyone that I played here in this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, see ya.